I'm Chuck Converse, and this is my build breakdown.
That was aggressive.
Inches.
111?
Yep.
Okay.
And here it is. This is my 2006 Jeep Wrangler TJ. I'm rocking 83,000 original miles. And we picked this guy up when Mason was pregnant with Jacoby. I purchased a Jeep about 12 years ago with 10,000 miles on it as a bone stock Rubicon. It was my daily up until about 2016 when it was in an auto crash. It was parked, but a lady ran into it and nearly totaled it. From then on, we put tons underneath it, and it's been a whole lot more fun since then.
What's under the hood?
So under the hood, I have a mostly stock 4-liter inline 6. I do run a metal conditioner squared additive in the oil, helps with vertical climbs. Other than that, it's a basically factory engine with a little bit of finagling. From my factory 4-liter, my power then goes to the 6-speed manual NSG 370, which is hooked up to a 4-speed Atlas, helping me harness the little bit of squirrel power I have and get out to the ground. 4-speed Atlas is hands down one of the favorite things I've done to my Jeep, and absolutely worth the money. For intake, I'm running a Trailhead off-road cowl intake. Fresh air comes in from out here, so if it gets air from underneath here, it can get heat soaked, all kinds of stuff. So I'm getting fresh air from the outside. Comes down through the cowl, into the firewall, and down into the intake. So, Trailhead off-road. Gotta build some oil pressure. I do get a lot of questions about my exhaust, and it's really nothing crazy. We had to modify the routing a little bit due to just space. And I have a very skinny, tiny MagnaFlow muffler that dumps right after the skid, and I think that's what gives it the rumble. For protection and recovery up front, I have a TNT Customs Stinger front bumper. Sitting on top of that, M8000 Warn winch. I just threw a 100-foot of Spydura Nightline on there, same stuff we used at Hammers. And on the front of that, I have a Flat Link E from Factor 55. As you can tell by looking at my Flat Link E, my recovery gear got quite the workout this summer. Justin and his team at Factor 55 not only helped us out during Kingler's Hammers for the race, but also during daily life. I lead a lot of trails, I do a lot of recoveries, and having the right equipment is all the difference. For front fenders, I have Poison Spider negatives. I also have Poison Spider hood plate and tailgate, JCR aluminum doors, and the rest of the armor is a TNT Customs one-off kind of armor, including these custom long rockers and the rear corners that tie in. Everybody told me how hard the East Coast was going to be on equipment, but they didn't give me a heads up on Texas. And man, if you can tell by this corner, Texas is rough on stuff. I think after this, this armor has run its expiration date, and we're going to change it out here soon, so look for changes coming there. But obviously, something needs to happen. She's schmooey. Speaking of being rough on things, I've had these Max Built Trail Tails for about 5 years now, and I have beat the hell out of them. I've bashed them into trees, I've bent fenders, all kinds of stuff, and every time I turn them on, every LED works. So thank you, Max Built. You built one hell of a product.
Inside the Jeep, we were running custom PRP seats with custom mounts. In the front, we were running Podium Elite, and in the back, we were running Premier lights, all with red matching harnesses. We also have a PRP suede steering wheel with a GenRight adapter.
Speaking of GenRight, I'm also running a GenRight cage, a GenRight metal roof. I do for sound system have a powered sub underneath the passenger seat, a couple of wakeboard tower speakers, and just a plain head unit.
For drive shafts, I mean, if you don't know who we're going with, you live under a rock. Adam's Drive Shaft, yeah, James is the man. I used to work for him. I've been good to my family for a long time. Been one of my original sponsors, and I can't say enough. This is my spare from the summer, as you can tell, went completely unused. Sat on the bus, so best in the business. Up front for an axle, I have a 1995 Ford ball joint Dana 60 Artec truss and steering mount on it. Has chromoly motive gear shafts, 538s, RCV slugs, and for a locker I'm using a Yukon Zip. I've had that for quite a few years, and honestly it's a great unit. Got a good deal on it and I have no complaints. For a rear axle, I'm using a 2005 14 bolt out of a Chevy 2500. I have a Moto-Built 13 bolt shave kit on it, and I'm also using Motive Gear 538s in that as well, stock shafts. For traction in the rear, we recently changed it up. I took the Motive Gear spool out that we've been using for years and threw in a torque locker. There was multiple reasons for that. One was this summer we were gonna put in quite a few road miles and I was tired of chewing up the rear tires. The other part is I got to sit down with the owners and actually go over the design, and I was impressed. So far, it unlocks going around corners, it locks up when I need it. It's a win.
For All-Star tires, we have the new MT02s and 42s. And they are 42 on 1450. And for wheels, we have Dirty Life Canyon wheels that are 20 inches tall and 10 inches wide.
I've been running the Milestar Dirty Life wheel combo for a couple years now, but I've only run it in the sticky or the black label compound. This summer I switched to the MT02, which is the DOT tire, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been impressed. It worked. It worked better than I even thought it would, and I can't wait to do a further tire review, but for right now, and I have 0 miles on these, by the way, that was the 40s. So with the 42, tire review and wheel combo review is coming soon. For suspension, I have a custom stretch rock crawler system, 3-link front, 4-link rear, sent on 14-inch Prodigy coilovers from Rock Crawler. Those are all mounted to the frame with Genrite hoops in the front, towers in the rear. I have 2-inch air bumps from FOA, front and rear, track bar behind the front axle to make room for an 8-inch double-ended ram from PSC in the front, and I have an anti-rock in the rear to keep me upright all the time, and man, does it work for hot campers. All right, for lighting, earlier this summer we switched it up a bit and we jumped on with Team Rigid Industries, which I have been pretty freaking happy about. Honestly, lights kick ass. I have a 50-inch adapt over the windshield and a 10-inch above the winch fairly down in the front. On the pillar, I'm using adapt XPs, which if you know me, those are my favorite lights to use. I have a whole mess of rock lights underneath, and on the back I'm using chase lights, multifunction, backup, brake light, hazard light in the rear so I don't get smacked in the desert from some race car because I go slow as shit. So I think that was a pretty good list, but I'm not really sure. Let us know in the comments if we missed anything, but I think that's a pretty good build breakdown. If you like this, let us know. We'd love to do more of these. I have a ton of friends that have really cool rides that I'd love to just sit down, interview them, and go through. So if you like the build breakdown, let us know. We'd love to do more of them.